Doctors in Cuba, like doctors everywhere, are superheroes. You know, you could just be wandering around one day, minding your own business, and boom, you get sick. You will be helped by nurses, you will be helped by pharmacists, doctors. So I'm talking about people in the medical field. As soon as Fidel Castro took power in Cuba in 1959, with the help of also famous Che Guevara, who was a doctor himself, he helped to shape the medical system of Cuba. That included the International Medical Program, where it was planned that doctors would travel around the world to wherever there was medical need to offer service for very little cost or sometimes no cost at all. The Cuban government asks for food, lodging, and flights sometimes for these doctors. Sometimes Cuban doctors will receive payment from the host country, and of course they get paid a little bit from the Cuban government itself, but albeit very little. I spoke last time about how the Americans restricted trade. The doctors who go out of Cuba to do this very important medical work kind of act as the only export. They go to natural disasters, they go to train other doctors around the world. These doctors arrive in any circumstance that they are needed. Again, speaking in the context of someone who's just learning, it made me think about how I am a trained teacher and I have not been compensated by the Canadian government in the same way that they criticize the Cuban government because doctors don't get paid lots of money to do this program. I mean, a doctor is very well paid in Canada. A doctor is even more well compensated in a place like the United States. That has more to do with the medical field being an expensive, profit-driven field. If you go to the United States, healthcare is expensive for everyone there. Not everyone gets to have the healthcare because it's so expensive, but the doctors get compensated more. It makes me want to seek other places to live in where I can be compensated better, where I can afford to buy food and have shelter. A similar problem has arisen in Cuba, obviously, where they experience a better quality of life elsewhere, where there isn't a blockade in their country, and then they end up staying abroad. So again, this international doctors program is sometimes criticized in that way, and I think that's kind of silly because doctors, of course, deserve to be compensated appropriately. The fact of the matter is that pay is very low in Cuba. Regardless of trade restrictions, regardless of not enough money, this international health program has existed since 1959 and has saved countless lives. Robbie, you even experienced Cuban healthcare, didn't you? Robbie was previously in Cuba when he was a small child. He experienced Cuban healthcare already. Help us to collect donations in the links that accompany this video. We will be giving this aid to real people in Cuba. We're not collecting a super duper amount, and our plan so far is to arrive with food aid and to do a big cookout. That way we're providing the fuel, the food, location, and people could hopefully come to our boat and eat a good meal. Stay tuned as we stay informed about, of course, the situation in the Caribbean that is the imperial power of the world trying to control, trying to tell people where they can and cannot go, what they own, an invasion of Cuba, something of this crazy sort. So we are paying attention, we are monitoring the situation, of course. Now imagine for a moment, if a country much larger than them had given healthcare to its own citizens and exported healthcare in a similar manner. US aid does not exist anymore. The soft power of exporting this kind of medical care and inspiration from the Cuban people. Imagine in a world where that was the focus, to provide healthcare over providing bombs and war and terror.